We're now live, Supervisor. You can proceed.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to start by handing it over to Gilbert Martinez of our communications team for a message for our Spanish-speaking viewers.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a la sesión informativa organizada por la supervisora Hopkins y la doctora Mace. Esta sesión informativa se está transmitiendo en vivo por nuestro canal de YouTube con interpretaciones al español. Para escuchar la versión en español, puede usar el link de YouTube que se encuentra en la página de Facebook del Condado de Sonoma. Gracias. Regresamos con usted, supervisora Hopkins.
Thank you so much, Gilbert. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. As usual, this is Linda Hopkins, your resident talking head chair of the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors. And I'm actually here today to share good news on a couple of fronts as part of our COVID-19 update for Monday, January 25th. First of all, you've probably heard, it's been all over social media and in the news that the governor today lifted the stay-home order for the entire Bay Area region, including Sonoma County, effective immediately. This is really good news for Sonoma County residents and business owners, as it means that we can begin to reopen parts of our economy a little more in hopes that the worst of this latest surge may be ending. The lifting of the order, which we have been under for nearly a month and a half since December 12th, means that Sonoma County's restaurants will be able to resume outdoor dining. Hair salons, barbershops, and personal care services will also be able to resume some indoor service, and residents will have more freedom to engage in activities outside the home. At the same time, I also want to share a note of caution, which is that it's important to remember that we remain in the purple tier within the state's blueprint for a safer economy. This means that there are widespread restrictions against indoor dining and other indoor activities, as well as large gathering. These things still remain in place in Sonoma County. So while we have some changes, this is not sort of a large, huge scale loosening of restrictions. More importantly, it's really important to remember that we remain in a precarious time for our county, as our case rate and positivity rates do remain very high, and you'll be hearing more from Dr. Mace about that later. So even as we venture outside of our homes a little bit more, it's critical that we continue to wear masks, practice safety protocols, and most importantly, avoid large gatherings. Dr. Mace, our health officer, and Deputy County Counsel Adam Radke will go into more detail about these areas in just a few moments. We also have some other exciting news to share with you today concerning our vaccination rollout. We're pleased to announce that Sonoma County has been selected to be one of 4 counties in the state to take part in a pilot vaccination program through OptumServe, the company best known for running COVID testing sites throughout the state. Under this pilot program, OptumServe will begin administering vaccinations at a clinic to be set up at the Rohnert Park Community Center starting this Wednesday. The clinic will be specifically targeted initially for Sonoma County residents ages 75 and above. Once we sort of spend some time focusing on those most at-risk residents that are 75 and older, we do plan to then shift to 65 and above at this clinic in the future. Appointments are required, and at the outset, they are being set up through invitation only through community groups affiliated with our Adult and Aging Division. This is just basically to ensure that these appointments are truly reserved for our local senior citizens. The other good news about this, not only are we going to be protecting our senior citizens here in Sonoma County, is that this clinic will handle up to 420 additional vaccinations per day. Dr. Urmila Shende, our vaccines chief, will also go into a little bit more detail about all of our sites that we are offering in Sonoma County in a minute. I do want to say, before I hand this over to Dr. Mace, that although we still have a long way to go in Sonoma County, our vaccination efforts here continue to accelerate. And both of these developments are both promising and hopeful signs that we are moving in the right direction. So thank you so much to all of the county staff who have been working around the clock and trying to get this done. So it's very exciting to see this new site opening up the day after tomorrow. And with that, I will hand it over to Dr. Mace for an update on COVID-19.
Great, thank you so much, Chairwoman Hopkins and everyone else. And thank you everybody for listening in. The lifting of the stay-at-home order today is indeed encouraging news for our county, but it doesn't mean that we can open everything up at this time. We're still deep in the pandemic and we continue to see widespread community transmission of the virus. We also remain in the most restrictive purple tier in the state's blueprint for a safer economy. Sonoma County's new cases per day per 100,000 residents is 41.4. That number must drop below 7 new cases per day per 100,000 residents in order for the county to move into the next tier, known as the red tier. Our testing positivity rate was 9.6% And this also needs to be less than 8% to move to the next tier. And the testing positivity in the lowest quartile of the Healthy Places Index, a metric that measures equity in the COVID response, was 15.9%. And this needs to be less than 8% to move into the next tier. So as Chair Hopkins said, we do have a ways to go. Also, I would like to remind you what being in the purple tier means for all of us. It means that outdoor gatherings are permitted, but only up to 12 people and with a maximum of 3 households. Personal care businesses can open with modifications. The following are permitted to operate only outdoors with modifications: movie theaters, wineries, restaurants, family entertainment centers, museums, zoos and aquariums, gyms, and places of worship. The good news is that we know what we need to do to move to the next tier. That is to follow simple mitigation measures, such as the social distancing, wearing of our face coverings or masks, and washing hands. So we need to continue these safe practices until we can distribute the vaccine throughout the community. And now Dr. Shende can talk about the other key tool at our disposal, and that is the importance of getting our community, particularly those who are most vulnerable, vaccinated. I want to underscore what Chair Hopkins just said. We are so lucky to be one of 4 counties that are piloting the OptumServe platform. We are very familiar with OptumServe here in our community, having 7 lanes located in Santa Rosa, Petaluma, and Windsor for testing. Well, now OptumServe is going to offer vaccinations, and we will start with our most vulnerable. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Shende. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mace. So as Chair Hopkins mentioned, the activation of the OptumServe site in Rohnert Park now brings to 8 the number of vaccination clinics being offered, or soon to begin, in partnership with the County of Sonoma. With the Rohnert Park site, these clinics will now have the capacity to provide up to 2,100 vaccinations or more per day for targeted employees or residents in Phase 1A of the state's prioritization framework. I want to underscore that this total does not include vaccinations that are also being administered in Sonoma County through hospitals and healthcare providers such as Kaiser, St. Joseph's, and Sutter, as well as those administered through our federally qualified health centers and through the Federal Pharmacy Partnership for Long-Term Care with CVS and Walgreens, which is responsible for vaccinations at skilled nursing facilities and residential care facilities. So the total number of doses administered each day in Sonoma County will be much higher than 2,100 per day. At least the capacity will be. As we all know, the rate limiting factor is the supply of vaccine. So these county-supported vaccination clinics that are in operation or soon to be open include, bear with me, a lot of information coming, AMR and Fire Agency Clinic for first responders and law enforcement at the Public Health Lab with a capacity of 200 per day. The Sonoma County Medical Association Clinic for healthcare providers at Grace Pavilion with capacity for 300 per day. And additional lanes will be available at Grace for a capacity for up to 1,200 per day eventually. Safeway Clinic for in-home support services workers at Sonoma County Fairgrounds with capacity of 300 per day. Clinical Health Appraisals Clinic for public health field workers at the County Administration Building with capacity of 200 per day. DEMA Consulting Clinic for various targeted groups at either Roseland Library or the Fairgrounds with a capacity of 200 per day. Fitness Center at Santa Rosa Junior College, Petaluma campus, which will have a capacity for more than 300 vaccines per day. The Huerta Gym in the town of Windsor, which will have capacity for 300 or more, and these will be targeted for ages 75 and up. In addition, the county is looking at setting up a vaccination center in Sonoma Valley and hopes to have a site identified and confirmed soon. By early February, we're still targeting to begin vaccinating our Phase 1B Tier 1 populations, including those preferentially over age 75, but also over 65, for groups such as teachers and other essential workers, specifically law enforcement and food and ag. We'll have more information for these groups as we get closer to that time. Right now, we do not have the ability for these groups to make appointments for vaccinations. These groups will be invited for vaccinations through their respective groups. Everyone is encouraged to go to socoemergency.org/vaccine for up-to-date information on the progress of the rollout, as well as information about options for getting a vaccine. The dashboard at socoemergency.org/vaccine tracks the number of Sonoma County residents who have been vaccinated thus far. As of Monday, the latest update shows that overall 31,382, that is comprised of 18,468,000 of Pfizer and 12,914 of Moderna, have been administered so far in Sonoma County. The number of residents who've received their first dose is up to 9,344, and the number of those who've received 2 doses is up to 6,019. And that is our update for Monday, January 25. Thank you.